Hi, my name's David Jacquia. I'm here to introduce the guys from East Rose West, a group of Hong Kong athletes looking to row across the Atlantic. So team, welcome to Joint Dynamics. Obviously the first question is, what's inspired you to do this?
First of all, we wanted to push ourselves. So a group of competitive athletes, we wanted to push ourselves out of our comfort zone, do something amazing, and most importantly really, chance to raise a huge amount of money for our charity, Child Fund, Pass It Back.
Now obviously this is a pretty epic challenge. Now Grant, can you tell us where you start, where you finish, and how many miles you'll be covering?
So yeah, the race starts in La Gomera in Spain, and we'll be finishing in Antigua. We'll go south first and then we'll make the crossing. So we're looking at around plus minus 3,000 miles.
Being such a huge task, this is going to take quite a lot of energy. Can you give us an estimation as to how many calories you're going to burn on a daily basis?
Being bigger guys, we'll probably burn around 8,000 calories a day. The challenge obviously being to put those back in through nutrition. Well, I mean, it's not uncommon for people to come off the race having lost sort of 10 to 15 kilograms.
Ideally, how many days are you aiming for this to take you?
Our aim would be between 30 and 35 days, obviously being hugely weather dependent. If the tide's on your side, you can sort of knock off 3 to 4 days quite easily.
Now, obviously this is a huge challenge for even the most experienced of rowers and ultra-distance athletes. Can I ask, have you guys had any rowing experience, and potentially, do you get seasick?
In terms of rowing experience, I think between the four of us, we had about 2 hours before we started this challenge. We've now done a few hours with the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, who are helping teach us on the water, but no, not a lot of experience at all.
Yeah, and in terms of seasickness, to answer the second part of your question, we've been on a few junk boats out in the harbour and no seasickness on them, so we're pretty confident that we'll be fine.
So obviously such a pretty epic challenge, and we've established that there's been limited time in the boat and on the water thus far, and also we're not exactly sure how the seasickness is going to pan out. So Martin, can you explain to me what supplementary training you're going to be doing?
Yes, so as Rob mentioned earlier, we've partnered with the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, who will give us time in the water and take us through those drills. Apart from that, we're spending quite a bit of time on the rowing machine in the gym, and then obviously through Joint Dynamics have had our bodies assessed and ironing out those little rugby injuries that we've developed over the years.
Now, having seen the guys and done some analysis on them thus far, it's pretty obvious that coming from the elite background that they're used to in the rugby scene, they've been able to transition their cardio fitness over. They're big guys, there's plenty of tank there, so it's a case of just getting them to increase their intensity without any injury. So taking into account all of the natural challenges that are going to go with rowing across the Atlantic with the miles and these sorts of things, what do you think are going to be the biggest challenges for you in getting this done?
Yeah, for me, unsurprisingly, I'd probably say, the food. We've done a few tests on the food so far, and, eating 1,000 calories of certain foods when it's just, rehydrated food is tricky. So at the moment, I'm probably eating, just to test it out, 2 packets a day, and I'll be having to eat around 8 packets a day. So yeah, definitely the toughest for me.
Yeah, for me it's the sleep deprivation. We'll be working on a pretty strict 2 hours on, 2 hours off schedule. So once you've done all your sort of administrative things in between your rowing sessions, you're only going to really have an hour to sleep at any given time.
And Rob?
Yeah, so I think just operating for that amount of time in such a confined environment, obviously there's not a lot of space, and there's 4 of you under quite stressful conditions. So I think just learning to operate there will be the tough.
That's a pretty epic journey. Obviously these guys have got a bit of time to prepare. We're pretty excited. Joint Dynamics is going to try and support them the whole way. How you can look to support the guys as well is to get online and look at eastrosewest.com. Look at how you can support the guys with either donations, benefits in kind, auction items that can help raise money for the charity of their choice. Let's touch on the charity component. Now, could you tell me more about the charity that you're looking to raise money for, Rob?
Yeah, so the charity we're raising money for is called Child Fund, Pass It Back. They're a charity that uses rugby as a vehicle to provide education and close the opportunity gap in poorer communities in Southeast Asia. They particularly focus on empowering women within these communities and training people, not only educating them, but a sort of train the trainer mindset, where they allow these people to become coaches, mentors, etc. within their communities to really make sure that it's not just a one generation thing, that this continues for time throughout that.
It's excellent. Obviously, creating an ecosystem where communities can support themselves is vitally important. So if you do want to help the guys, help the charity, please either get in touch direct at eastrosewest.com, or you can contact us here at Joint Dynamics and we can pass on the details and help you get that done. Guys, thanks very much for coming in today. Really appreciate it, and obviously best of luck with the challenge.
Thanks, Dave.